Құрметті көрермендер, орындарыңызға жайғасып, телефондарыңыздың дауысын...
Dear participants, please take your seats and switch off your smartphones.
Ставить телефоны на беззвучный режим. Спасибо за внимание. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we kindly ask you to make your seats and put your phones on mute. We are starting now. Уважаемые дамы и господа,
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The plenary session will begin in a few minutes.
құрметті ханымдар мен мырзалар, орындарыңызға жайғасуларыңызды сұраймыз. Ladies and gentlemen, we kindly ask you to take your seats. Thank you for attention.
Как дела?
У вас очень ответственная задача, как всегда.
Да. Да, чуть-чуть.
Не полный состав самолета.
Небольшой запас есть, так что будет нормально. Ну что ж, Шузот Хатамович.
Руководитель страны по областям Ферганской долины.
Он с ним.
Да. Там большая делегация. Думали, что успеем. Мне вчера сказали, давай. Сегодня еще сегодня.
Хорошо. Ладно. Еще нормально все. Давайте. Если в зале будут свободные места, то зайдите и займите. Особенно вот с крайних рядов вообще без проблем можно будет зайти и сесть.
Доброе утро, дамы и господа.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In order to, I'd like to invite the heads of government as well as distinguished speakers in order to participate in the plenary session of the Forum Digital Meeting 2023. Mr. Nikol Pashinyan, Prime Minister of the Republic of Armenia; Roman Golovchenko, Prime Minister of the Republic of Belarus; Alekhan Smailov, Prime Minister of the Republic of Kazakhstan; Akhilbek Japarov, Chairman of the Cabinet of Ministers of the Kyrgyz Republic, Head of the Administration of the President of Kyrgyz Republic; Mikhail Mishustin, Chairman of the Government of the Russian Federation; Abdullah Aripov, Prime Minister of the Republic of Uzbekistan; and Mikhail Mysnikovich, Chairman of the Board of Eurasian Economic Commission; Timur Turlov, Chief Executive Officer of Freedom Holding Corp., and Huan Chon-song, President of the National Information Society Agency, NIA. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and dear guests tuning in online. Welcome to the Digital Meeting 2023. My name is Dmitry Smishin. I'm the ADC head. I'd like to thank heads of government for their personal participation in this event, which once again underlines the exceptional importance of digitalization for the economies of our countries. I'd like to note that the Digital Almaty Forum has been already held for the 5th time, and every year it becomes bigger and bigger. So this year, Forum has turned into a 2-day event with a huge exhibition, part of which you have already seen, as well as a host of related activities. Panel sessions and key sessions, presentations, battles, interviews, and broadcasts. In keeping with traditions, I propose to start our session with a short video that will remind us of the highlights of previous forums and highlight key technology trends. Please.
С последних лет кардинально изменила мировую реальность и вектор будущего развития. Цифровые технологии являются ключевым решением, а партнерство его основным инструментом. Драйвером технологического партнерства в Евразийском регионе стал форум Digital Almaty. За 5 лет площадка и его живописная локация привлекли более 30 тысяч участников со всего мира. Каждый год тематики форума пытаются соответствовать и отражать важнейшие мировые тренды в области цифровизации и высоких технологий. Искусственный интеллект, 5G, интернет вещей и биометрия, технологии новой реальности. Информация сама будет вести вас. Дом, бытовая техника, автомобили уже предвосхищают ваши потребности. Благодаря IoT дороги станут безопаснее. Роботы значительно повысят производительность и безопасность в таких областях, как строительство, производство и медицина. На сегодняшний день Казахстан является GovTech-лидером в регионе. Госуслуги сами сопровождают казахстанцев от самого рождения до выхода на пенсию. Все самые важные документы всегда под рукой, так же, как и возможность цифрового подписания документов, не выходя из дома. В фокусе развития процветающая экосистема IT-бизнеса и стартапов. Ее основные катализаторы – Астана Хаб, Tech Garden АКФ ПИТ. Благодаря уникальному инструменту финансирования проектов, цифровизация из обязательств недропользователей осуществляет разработку и внедрение инновационных проектов. Через площадку Digital Almaty 2023 Казахстан готов продолжить делиться компетенциями, аккумулируя региональных и мировых лидеров отрасли для новых возможностей развития цифрового партнерства. Добро пожаловать на Digital Almaty 2023. Будущее уже сегодня.
The trends shown in the video are indisputable, and they will be discussed at various forum sessions. Young companies, startups relying on venture capital will very quickly find the most effective use of technology. The task of governments is to understand what is relevant and what is needed to be supported, removing barriers, including between countries. Integration with the use of latest technologies and the elimination of digital barriers are at the heart of the EAEU digital agenda. Development of technologies over the past 2 years poses new challenges to our states. Speaking about artificial intelligence, the data economy and its use in fintech and state tech We're all thinking about how to ensure their safe functioning not only within our countries, but also in integration associations using the best practices available. Thus, according to IDC forecast, by 2026, 45% of states will have digital trade agreements that will ensure reliable and regulated data transmission across borders. Kazakhstan's experience over the past 2 years has surpassed any expectation and brought the country to the list of global digital leaders. Allow me to give the floor to Salihhan Ashanovich Ismailov to speak.
Уважаемые участники,
Dear participants of the forum, dear colleagues, allow me to welcome you at the 5th anniversary of the Forum Digital Almaty, in a city which today is not only business, but also the digital capital of Kazakhstan. 80% of IT companies are based here, and Almaty itself is a center of attraction for creative youth. President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Kemelyevich Tokayev, identified digital transformation, creating favorable conditions for the IT industry and the development of human capital as priorities for ensuring the competitiveness of the economy. The government is making every effort to annually increase the contribution of digital technologies to the country's GDP. During the holding of the forum has become one of the most important IT events in Eurasia. The participation of my colleagues, heads of governments, confirms this. This year, the event is getting even bigger. More than 100 foreign startups present their projects. Another 100 startups participate in the Astana Hub Battle. On the sidelines of the forum, robotic solutions and their application in industry, in government tech, fintech products, and many others are demonstrated. All these directions form the basis for digital partnership of our countries. In this regard, I'd like to draw your attention to the following important, in our opinion, issues. First, to give the multiplicative effect to the development of IT markets of our companies, a reliable platform for partnership is needed. An example in Kazakhstan is the Astana Hub. It has become not only local but also active regional player. Its institutional base in the form of preferences such as programs like Techpreneurs, Google for Startups have become the real drivers for IT market activation. At the moment, more than 1,000 residents from more than 10 countries have created 16,000 jobs by exporting IT products. Autonomous Cluster Fund, Park of Innovative Technologies, created an ecosystem which unites industrial enterprises in the IT market of Kazakhstan. The fund has financed 187 projects worth more than $36 million in the areas of Industry 4.0, industrial safety, geology, metallurgy, etc. I consider it important to develop the interaction between technological incubators of our countries. Secondly, Kazakhstan is moving towards digital transformation of public administration. Today, we're implementing world-class projects in such areas as fintech and govtech. Our country has reached a high level of penetration of digital solutions into everyday life. This was possible by the openness of state and manufacturability of business. Digitalization is an important component in ensuring equality of opportunities and fairness for all citizens of the country. Transition to a qualitatively new format of digitalization of public administration, so-called invisible government, is underway. The bottom line is that at the center of public policy there is a person, his needs and interests. For example, we have collected 80 parameters of family welfare according to the UN methodology. It helps us to identify families every day caught in a difficult life situation, then switch to the provision of proactive public services and support measures. One of the key approaches here is the implementation of multi-platform principle of provision of public services. The state is moving away from the bottleneck model, giving businesses the opportunity to integrate government services into their own platform and digital ecosystems. The advantages of such approach are obvious. To date, 15 public services are available through private IT platforms in a fully digital format. Large-scale work is underway to optimize and revise business requirements and regulation from scratch, so to speak. We've analyzed 44 areas of regulation of entrepreneurial activity. Over 10,000 basic conditions, requirements, and new and appropriate regulatory policies were identified. The implementation of the Clean slate reform will make it possible to increase the efficiency of regulating the business environment and create favorable conditions for the development of entrepreneurship. In recent years, we have achieved significant progress in terms of e-government development. In the corresponding ranking, UN Kazakhstan improved its positions, rising from 39th to 28th since 2018, and in the sub-rating of online service, our country entered the top 10 of countries of the world, rising from 16th to 8th place. Such results became possible thanks to the development of human-centric approach of e-government and the digitalization of interaction with citizens and businesses. The President of Kazakhstan called for intensifying work on the development of integration and the creation of projects for a common Eurasian scale. I believe that the start of this work could be the creation of a digital competence center here in Almaty. It could become a platform for the formation and implementation of major digital initiatives within the framework of Eurasian Economic Union, as well as for the exchange of experience. Thirdly, the increase of availability and quality of communication is of particular importance. Today, in Kazakhstan, settlements with population of 250 people covered broadcast internet access. In the remaining areas, we will use radio relay networks and low-orbit satellite systems. In order to improve the availability and quality of communication services, I consider it necessary for our countries to synchronize the radio frequency spectrum. We are ready to work together to attract investment for development of digital infrastructure, which will open up new opportunities for all countries in the region. As a result, our countries could develop high-speed data transmission channels with interfacing with international corridors cross-border flows. Fourthly, it is necessary to create all conditions for the development and dissemination of cross-border electronic document management. In particular, in order to create favorable conditions for logistic companies, Kazakhstan is working on the transition to electronic transport documents. We offer to translate all forms within the EAEU permits into electronic format. Exclusion of paper circulation reduces corruption risks, increases the transparency of trade, and most importantly, allows businesses to optimize their costs. Electronic interaction between our countries remains a topical issue in the field of mutual trade. These and other issues appear to be important areas of our joint work in the field of digitalization. Implementation of key digital priorities agenda will promote open and equal cooperation and the transition to a new level of economic, technological, and social development. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much, Alhan Ashanovich Ismailov. The floor is now given to Nicola Pashinyan. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Dear colleagues, dear forum participants, first of all, I would like to thank Kazakhstan for organizing the forum, which has become an effective platform for discussing digitalization issues and prospects for digital development. For the Republic of Armenia, the development of the digital economy has been and remains one of the biggest priorities. The turnover in the IT sector of the Republic of Armenia in 2022 increased by more than 50%, and the share of the information technology and communications sector in Armenia's GDP is consistently growing. For our part, we provide sectoral state support to IT business. Last year, more than 1,000 startups received significant tax breaks. At the same time, we deem it important to consider the establishment of a single digital space within the Eurasian integration. In this context, I would like to note the relevance and high demand for the tools of the interstate information exchange system, the creation and development of digital projects with an integration effect. One of the foundations of the Union's digital agenda should be the widespread use of the regulatory sandbox regime. Thanks to the use of special legal regimes of regulatory sandboxes, the terms for implementing digital transformation projects will be reduced, and the quality of the submitted projects will increase, which in turn will accelerate the launch of digital projects of a pan-Eurasian scale. At the same time, it is important to note that when forming a single digital space, one must not forget about building an integrated information data protection system. In this context, we believe the acceleration of work on the conclusion of an international agreement on data circulation to be particularly relevant. Colleagues, after our meeting at the forum in Almaty in 2021, our government adopted a 5-year digitalization strategy for Armenia, which determined the main directions for the digital economy and innovative development of the country. I would like to note that before the adoption of the strategic document, we already had an extensive experience in the development of digital services, but the strategy will ensure the creation of a consolidated digital ecosystem in the country. The main goals are: first, ensuring efficient and effective public administration based on the maximum use of data from information systems and big data. Improving the efficiency and modernizing the private sector of the economy through the development of platforms and digital services. Third, supporting the development of digital skills and abilities for the general population. At the same time, all three directions are interconnected and are complementary. The events of recent years have shown that modern challenges can instantly alter our regular lives in an unpleasant way if joint and timely measures are not taken. Obviously, there is practically no country capable of facing global challenges alone. This was clearly evidenced, for example, by the COVID-19 pandemic. We all faced the same challenges, and we had to work together in order to overcome the consequences of the lockdown and the pandemic itself. We have begun to use digital mechanisms more widely and deeper to overcome both the consequences of the pandemic and possible crises of a similar nature in the future. In this regard, I would like to note that international and regional cooperation is one of the critical tools in achieving the goals of Armenia's sustainable digital development. The government of Armenia interacts at the interstate level, actively cooperates with the private sector and international organizations to find new digital solutions. One of such solutions for the Eurasian Economic Union was the mobile application made by Digital Initiatives Fund of the Eurasian Development Bank called Traveling COVID-19 Free. It ensured the restoration of a free movement of citizens between our countries. 5 million tests uploaded to the app means 5 million trips. It's indeed a huge number. The application launched thanks to the active support of the governments of the Russian Federation and the Republic of Armenia. They launched a pilot, which has become a full-fledged project involving 9 countries. In my opinion, despite the slowdown of the pandemic and the restoration of free movement, traveling COVID-19 free creates a good foundation for the development of cross-border digital medicine, healthcare, the exchange of information and digitalization of medical records in accordance with national requirements and with full protection of personal data. I propose to start discussing the prospects of using this application as a tool of epidemiological shield right now and a trust mechanism in transferring medically significant information. Dear participants of the forum, today I would like to draw our attention to another relevant digital tool that allows citizens, businesses, and government agencies of the EAEU countries to interact when organizing labor activities in our countries. We are talking about the digital platform Jobs in the EAEU, developed by the Digital Initiatives Fund as part of the implementation of the idea of Mikhail Mishustin. The Russian segment of Jobs in the EAEU began its work in 2022, and I want to inform you that today the first full version of the national segment of the Republic of Armenia is also available in the app. App users can already find vacancies, they can respond to them, use such services as assistance, frequently asked questions, they can get acquainted with regulatory information, find departments of authorized bodies, contact information, and so on. Also, in the Armenian national segment of the Jobs in the EAEU, the main existing state digital services are already available, such as a single e-request portal, which provides not only the opportunity for individuals and legal entities to send requests to more than 200 government agencies and subordinate organizations of Armenia, but also monitor the progress of the request and getting a response. Within Armenia, about 60,000 users have already used this service, and the total number of applications and requests has exceeded 300,000. The next digital service integrated into Jobs in the EU app is workpermit.am, which provides work and residence permits in Armenia. The entire process takes place based on a single request submitted to the online platform. The digital tool ensures the coordinated interaction of the 5 government agencies involved in this process. Also, using the digital service, you can get a free card that certifies the legality of residence in the Republic of Armenia based on an employment contract for citizens of the EAEU countries and their families. The platform will be from time to time supplemented with other public and commercial services. At the same time, I would like to note that our national segment takes into account the peculiarities of our market and is not a copy of the Russian segment. Thus, we are developing the platform Jobs in the EAEU with a new added value. Armenia and Russia were the first participants in traveling COVID-19 free and Jobs in the EAEU. Our connection shows the effectiveness of interactions and the cumulative effect of integrating the benefits of national services. We support the proposal of the Russian government to join the project to create national segments and support the attraction of highly qualified personnel for the benefit of the growth of our national economies and the economies of the EAEU as a whole. Thank you.
Большое спасибо, Никол Лаваевич.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pashinyan. Allow me to give the next floor to Mr. Roman Golovchenko.
Уважаемые участники,
Dear forum participants, on behalf of the government of the Republic of Belarus, I'd like to welcome you to the digital forum entitled Digital Almaty 2023 Digital Partnership in a New Reality. The forum platform provides business and expert circles, representatives of the public sector of the countries of the Eurasian Economic Union, with a good opportunity to discuss the creation of the Eurasian digital market and jointly develop approaches to solving urgent problems of regional digital cooperation. Over the past 5 decades, digital technologies have become an unconditional component of the sustainable development of society and, of course, a driver of economic growth. For the countries of EAEU as well as for the whole world, digitalization today is inseparable from economic process and public administration. Such changes are a challenge to the capabilities and abilities of any state. In Belarus, special attention is paid to the digitalization of the economy. In order to further digital transformation, a powerful infrastructure reserve has been created, including a developed data transmission network, high-performance centers for their processing and storage, infrastructure for interdepartmental and cross-border mechanisms for identifying and making electronic payments, contemporary information security tools. All of this makes it possible to carry out technological breakthrough to create conditions for bringing the economy and the standard of living of our citizens to fundamentally new frontiers. Unprecedented sanctions imposed in 2022 against some countries in our union touched upon the issues of digitalization as well. Restrictions on the sale of updating of software, refusal to supply telecommunications equipment are certain deterrent to the introduction of modern technologies and services. And this once again reminds us of the importance of national sovereignty in the field of digital development. As an example, how we have dealt with such challenges is the disconnection of a bank from SWIFT. And in the shortest possible time, a successful solution was found that allows the transformation of financial messages, and now it is used by financial institutions in a number of countries. We need to accumulate the existing achievements, the scientific potential of our countries, and ensure the transition to a new digital reality on our own terms, based on our own developments, technologies, and infrastructure. Particularly relevant and promising is the creation of new production processes, materials, and equipment based on artificial intelligence technologies, big data, robotics, and Internet of Things, virtual and augmented reality. We propose to the Eurasian Economic Commission to organize cooperation and coordination in this area. In the area of digital transformation, close attention must be paid to society and business. It is necessary to digitalize their communication with the state. And from the presentation that we have seen from the colleagues, it can be observed that pretty much all of the EU countries follow this path. And it is the right and justified cause for us to exchange information with our achievements and our disadvantages in this sphere, including the fact that this platform provides us with a good opportunity to do so. And we have to provide provision of electronic services development in all of our countries. What is also important is the creation within the framework of the EU of a cross-border space of trust, which will include, first of all, the recognition of an electronic digital signature, without which it is impossible to provide the population with quality public services and the effective operation of the government bodies and state institutions. I believe that the heads of government have the right to instruct the authorities to speed up the completion of necessary work in this direction by those in charge. It is obvious that in order to achieve our goals, we need to train personnel in digital economy. It is impossible without these aspects. It is necessary to constantly modernize the existing education system, take necessary measures to support innovative educational projects, and to disregard the issue of adaptation of all categories of the population in the digital world. In this regard, I appeal to the prime ministers of the state present here to intensify efforts among the members of the EAEU and its implementation of the digital agenda. There are some examples, especially creation of information and communication showcase. The EAEU, that was supposed to be completed in December 2022, but it was only about halfway through, and the project Eurasian Network of Industrial Cooperation, Subcontracting and Technology Transfer which would be very beneficial right now, has not actually moved forward since 2019. The potential of collective efforts aimed at creating a single digital space of the EU must be fully realized. New design solutions are required. An urgent task is also completion of all planned work on the readiness of the general process of the integrated information system of the EU and the creation of a specially equipped secure network in the member states of the Union. I propose to discuss the results of this work in June at the Eurasian Economic Forum. By combining our efforts, we will get a synergetic effect in digitalization, as we all expected. It will become a kind of locomotive for all sectors of the economy. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sir Roman Alexandrovich. Allow me to give the floor to Akalbek Usimbekovich Japarov.
Спасибо большое.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, dear colleagues, good afternoon to all of you, representatives of the IT industry, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, allow me to thank Fraternal Kazakhstan for the invitation to join this discussion platform, which is now beloved by many. I am very glad that the tradition of gathering in Almaty and discussing salient issues on the digital agenda has been resumed. It is a great joy to be here among so many trailblazers. Dear colleagues, today we are talking about the digital transformation, a phenomenon that affects all areas of our lives. The modern geopolitical agenda and global cataclysms increase the influence of digital technologies on the political, economic, and social components of the world order. Of all the new technologies and technological trends, I want to highlight two areas: artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency. Analysts predict that smart machines programmed to reason and think like a person will lead to a revolution in education, healthcare, and many other areas in the near future. Just recently, the news came out that British scientists were able to find a potential cure for liver cancer in 30 days using artificial intelligence. Previously, it took decades of painstaking research. In healthcare, artificial intelligence algorithms will help in the early diagnosis of diseases, treatment planning, and drug development. I'll give you another example. ChatGPT, which is already doing well in business school exams, is going to online interviews and is able to land a job. What was a fantasy 10 years ago has become a reality today. What can I say? My speech today was partially generated using this artificial intelligence. All this opens new perspectives. At the same time, the pace of technological development is outpacing our ability to respond to these changes with appropriate public policies. It bothers me that Alisa or Siri do not speak Kyrgyz or Kazakh. We all understand that languages that do not get into the digital world will face the fate of the same languages that did not get a written word. It is important to note that artificial intelligence will bring both opportunities and challenges, so its impact on society must be actively managed. Dear colleagues, I think it is no secret for anyone that the restrictions imposed on the banking sector, money transfers through Visa and MasterCard, brought a significant impetus to the development of cryptocurrency in our region. According to experts, shadow turnover in Bishkek alone is estimated to be from $5 to $10 million per day. Our large manufacturers, the representatives of the light industry, use stablecoins for mutual payments with customers and suppliers of raw materials in Russia and China. I believe that cryptocurrency can affect the economic development of the country both positively and negatively. On the one hand, cryptocurrency can become an alternative to traditional financial systems and increase accessibility for those who do not have bank accounts or are not covered by them, or those who are under certain restrictions. On the other hand, cryptocurrencies can pose risks to a country's financial stability and consumer protection. And also, concerns are raised regarding illegal activities such as money laundering and tax evasion. The impact of cryptocurrencies on a country's economy will depend on a variety of factors, including the country's approach to regulation and the level of acceptance of cryptocurrencies by citizens and businesses. The potential of these technologies is impressive, but for a number of reasons, they should be regarded with caution. Before any new technology enters the market based on artificial intelligence or blockchain, regulatory issues must be addressed. Dear forum participants, digital sovereignty is on the agenda. The ability to ensure one's digital sovereignty can become a key sign of the independence of a state in the 21st century. In previous years, the emphasis was on the right of the country or region to be able to make unilateral decisions and take practical actions regarding its digital infrastructure and IT technologies that are used. As global networks emerge and spread, it becomes more and more difficult for national governments to maintain digital independence. The Kyrgyz Republic is working daily to create balanced conditions for the development of digital technologies. We are among the top 3 leaders in the world in terms of the lowest cost of the internet. We have the lowest electricity tariffs in the region. If we talk about revolutions in the digital world, then we are developing a kind of unique digital code to regulate the relations that arise with the active introduction of digital solutions in public administration. Last January, we adopted the law on virtual assets. It regulates relations arising from the circulation of the cryptocurrencies, that is, their creation, issue, storage, and circulation. I would like to highlight that Kyrgyzstan holds biometric elections with the identification of the voter by fingerprints and facial geometry. This system is unique in our region. And now these technologies will be used to provide not only public services, but also in other areas, first and foremost in fintech. Last December, we recognized digital documents, which allowed citizens not to carry paper documents with them. Citizens, through the Tunduk mobile application, can present a digital passport, a vehicle registration certificate, and a driver's license. And now our mobile application is among the top 5 most downloaded apps, lagging only behind the popular apps like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. As part of the digitalization of tax procedures, a set of digital solutions for data analytics and the identification of risks of tax evasion has been developed and implemented. These measures allow to increase tax revenues within 1 year by 148%. Based on the foregoing and clearly understanding that it is quite challenging to compete with the IT leaders, I propose to unite the efforts of our countries and organize a regional center for the development of artificial intelligence for medical data processing. There's a decision made in Skolkovo, so we just need to create a united platform. I'm sure that CT scans of citizens of different countries, different nationalities are basically similar. So why can't we create a single digital service that will help doctors and our citizens to effectively analyze their medical data and to receive a right diagnosis as well? It does not require large capital investments. For our part, we are ready to provide such a platform. Secondly, stablecoin cryptocurrency takes a strong position in the economic relations of our region. Perhaps we should head for the development of a regional stablecoin that would be pegged to our currencies. It is clear that artificial intelligence is an important innovative direction, a cryptocurrency that will dramatically affect the development of the world. the effect of which is comparable to the influence of the internet on our lives. As the saying goes, not going forward is the same as going backwards, and standing still is not possible. New technologies do not stand still, and we must not fall behind. Dear colleagues, dear forum participants, thank you so much. I am glad to share my vision with you and hear your opinion on technological innovations. Thank you so much.
Большое спасибо клубе.
Thank you so much, Mr. Japarov. And before we give the floor to the Prime Minister of Russian Federation, I would like to show the video that was prepared by Russian side.
Современный мир раскалывается. Торговые партнеры воспринимают экономическую взаимозависимость как национальный риск. В ущерб себе разрушают выгодные исторические связи. В основе принимаемых решений лежит недобросовестная конкуренция. Череда кризисов увеличивает неопределенность. Глобализация сделала всех технологически зависимыми и уязвимыми. Ведущие технологические компании внезапно и безосновательно бросают клиентов и покидают национальный рынок. Это реальность. Она может повториться в любой из наших стран. Это риски, требующие совместного решения. Россия отвечает на технологические вызовы, активно развивает собственные цифровые решения и продукты, укрепляет собственный технологический суверенитет. ЕАЭС продемонстрировал устойчивость. Он эффективно реагирует на сложные вызовы современности. На пространстве Союза мы вместе обеспечили своевременную защиту от COVID-19, низкие цены на энергоносители и продовольственную безопасность. Осваиваем новые транспортно-логистические маршруты. ЕАЭС располагает ресурсами и возможностями стать одним из самостоятельных, самодостаточных полюсов нового мира. Чтобы оставаться самостоятельными, нам необходимо взять новую высоту, достичь технологического суверенитета. Принципиально важно обеспечить наши страны технологическими решениями на базе собственных разработок. Общая экономика ЕАЭС обладает размерами, позволяющими формировать и поддерживать технологический суверенитет. Давайте вместе это сделаем.
And now, allow me to give the floor to Mr. Mishustin.
Уважаемые
distinguished colleagues, distinguished participants of the forum, dear friends. First of all, I would like to thank the hospitable land of Kazakhstan and personally Mr. Kasım-Jomart Tokayev and Elhan Ismailov for the wonderful organization of the Almaty Traditional Digital Forum. We have taken a look at the exhibition, we have met the youth, the participants, and we have taken a look at the various technological solutions in various areas from e-governance to gaming, and 30,000 plus people are participating in this forum already. Every year it gives a start to the meetings of the heads of governments of the member and observer states of the Eurasian Economic Union, and it provides an opportunity to have an open discussion of the integration process in the digital area. Starting from the 1st of January, our country has assumed the chairmanship of the bodies of the Eurasian Economic Union. Addressing his colleagues in the Eurasian Five in his message, President Vladimir Putin emphasized that one of the most important strategic priorities of our joint work should be the development and building up the technological capacity of the participants of the Union, achieving true independence and self-sufficiency in this area. Together, we shall stand in introducing the advanced technological solutions in the leading areas of our economies. Digital technology has a global nature, and the electronic services and the financial flows do not know any state borders, which was mentioned by all the speakers. Transnational corporations have no hindrances in accumulating information on citizens and companies. Data is like gold or platinum or oil of the 21st century. They use this data to create the expanded user profiles. But here, in the Eurasian Economic Commission, we still have active discussions asking ourselves if the inclusion of the VIN numbers of the commercial vehicles in the Union database could create a threat to the national sovereignty of the Eurasian Five. This is ridiculous. For many years, we've been trying to find agreement on the recognition of the digital signatures, as mentioned by the colleagues, or the launch of the common registry of the legal personalities. Active development of e-commerce in our countries has resulted in differences in the taxation legislation. We've spent 2 years discussing this. This is holding back the expansion of economic links in the EAEU. Besides, the open registries and the basic solutions in the countries allow us to find this information. The only thing left is to integrate these systems and create the relevant digital services. Even the useful mobile app mentioned today by Prime Minister Pashinyan, COVID-19 free travel, did not receive recognition immediately. Its introduction was accompanied by a great number of discussions with certain partners and colleagues, but I think it is quite obvious why this app was created and what the principles are. First, we launched it in a test mode for 2 countries. Later, we expanded it to 3 countries, and in the end, all the 5 Eurasian states have joined it, and even Moldova, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan and Uzbekistan have joined it as well. By the end of last year, the number of users has reached 1.5 million people, and 5 million PCR test results were uploaded. And we can use these capacities further and develop them to make sure that we have the unhindered transportation of the workforce. Let me note that in October last year, in Manila, the developer of the service, the Digital Initiative Foundation of the Eurasian Development Bank, was awarded by the Development Institute Association of the Asia-Pacific region. This solution allowed us to resume normal air travel, and most importantly, it helped us reduce the risks of infection spread. This is a great example of what we can achieve as long as we stand together in the introduction of digital solutions. The introduction of the COVID-19 free travel app did not result in the damage to the sovereignty of any EAEU state, which was the idea, even though such concerns were originally voiced by our colleagues. Besides, during the creation, we have managed to establish a unique architecture which can rule out the exchange of any personal data during the trans-border exchange of information. The certified medical laboratories of our states, where you can get your PCR test, were observing single requirements and protocols, and they were using a single digital system to provide the test results. Such a common platform solution, integrating the national segments, creates the barrier-free environment for the free travel of goods, services, capital and workforce. And naturally, we should not stop here, and I absolutely support what was proposed by Prime Minister Pashinyan. We should think how we can use this further. This is exactly the principle for the new mobile app called Work in the EAEU. The Russian database is also connected to it, with information on several hundreds of thousands of jobs openings. And recently, Armenia joined the system, and I hope that other partners would also get involved. The app is meant to become a modern platform for the common labor market. Today it is highly demanded, especially keeping in mind the active migration between our countries. Dear friends, we should start with the simple things and then move on to more complicated ones. As we speak about artificial intelligence, new technology, big data, we shall remember about our basic systems. We should find agreement between them. This is very important. Speaking of the free travel of goods, we should create an ecosystem of the digital transportation corridors, as mentioned right now by our colleagues. The main goal of this system is providing assistance to the business partners in exchange of the logistics information throughout all the supply chain to ensure the legally binding electronic communication with the relevant authorities within the countries and at the level of the EAEU. We should establish the efficient construction of routes and booking of the relevant transportation infrastructure. And I absolutely agree that we should use the digital documentation instead of the paper transactions. This would help us create an expanded technological infrastructure serving as a basis for the national services framework. To ensure the free movement of capitals between our countries, we also need to develop the cooperation between the payments and transaction system of the Eurasian Five. This serves the interests of our citizens and the businesses. First of all, the small and medium-sized businesses. The affordability and the availability of such services would ensure the integration in our union, and we should increase the number of such projects. We should work at the rate which corresponds with the requirements of our times. It is currently normal that high-tech solutions are used in all the areas of our day-to-day life. Today we have seen the number of such apps at the exhibition of Almaty Digital. You can even see this in the mortgage solutions where you need to provide your personal data and make your face scan. And almost 80% of the clients can use these new technologies, and this is a very good example. Russia has a vision of how exactly the world will transform with the new technologies. We understand how these processes work. This is why in the EAEU we always initiate new digitalization. We support the promising ideas to improve the business environment, and this would most definitely be useful for all of us. In our country, we do a lot to make sure that the state services are provided online, digitally, at the level which corresponds to the expectation of our demanding users who are used to high-class services. Russia ranks first in Europe in the number of citizens with internet access. By the end of last year, we ranked 6th in the world on the affordability of home and mobile internet access, and we rank 10 in the number of modern data centers. Over 100 million people have accounts on the state services website, and in the last 5 years, the number of verified accounts has increased by over 50%. The average number of services provided in a month has increased by 3.5 times, also thanks to COVID, which accelerated the digitalization and accelerated the use of various services in the world, and it became very convenient. Numerous services have already given very good results, even though COVID is no longer such a threat to our countries. We have introduced new technological solutions that we use in our day-to-day lives, and the daily audience has increased by almost 4 times. Our efforts are recognized by the international experts, and despite the unobjective attitude of the West, the recent rating of the World Bank, which was cited today, Russia ranked in the top 10 countries with the highest level of the use of digital technology in the state sector, and the research evaluated around 200 states. It took in mind such indicators that represent the introduction of the digital services in the state services, the taxation and budgeting, the education and healthcare. Distinguished colleagues, as part of the chairmanship of the Russian Federation in the EAEU, we call upon all the participants of the Five to work to achieve technological sovereignty. This is a matter of the security of the critical infrastructure, the dynamic development of our economies, and as a result, the improvement of the quality of life of our people. This is especially important for the youth, who are used to quick, high-quality and modern services using their mobile apps. The previous year has given a vivid demonstration that we cannot rely on Western companies as suppliers of hardware and software and technology. In the modern world, the lack of our own decisions and solutions means colonial dependence on the countries who possess them and promote them globally. There is no doubt that the existing solutions are comfortable and we have become used to them. But at a certain point we may lose access to them, and with the lack of our own solutions or alternatives, this could result in the lagging behind from the rest of the world. Can we afford this? Of course we can't. All the governments of the Union states shall direct their efforts towards the achievement of technological sovereignty, but at the same time we should stay real. None of our countries has the necessary volume of the consumer market to support the creation and the development of the advanced technologies, but through cooperation we can achieve that. Secondly, no state or union can put a claim to complete technological sovereignty. The lack of our own products or productions in the key areas of the economy makes us highly vulnerable. That is why we need to find an acceptable balance between the self-sufficiency that we shall strive forward. Russia is open to such cooperation with the partners in the EAEU and other friendly states, and we have something to offer. For the majority of the foreign software, about 80 to 90%, we already have the Russian alternatives, and we have started to adjust them for the specific needs of the businesses and industries, and we support the creation of new software products. This is why we have created a serious system of centers of competence. It involves over 500,000 Russian leading companies. The developers, the management, the representatives of the businesses and the authorities stand together, united by a single goal, to make sure that the industries have the suitable software, which is a suitable alternative for the foreign software, and we have selected around 200 initiatives, and some of them are already ready for implementation and scaling up. And over 30 will be implemented this year and next year. The majority of the financement will be taken by the businesses themselves. The private investment already increases 155 billion rubles. The goal of these centers is not just to create an alternative to the foreign solutions, but rather to create a competitive product which could go to the international market. That is why, as we choose the projects, we took into account the possibility of their distribution, their export capacity, and the implementation in other countries, and I am absolutely sure that this would be interesting for our partners in the Eurasian Economic Union. I also suggest that we stand together in the development of the ecosystem of IT parks on the entirety of the Eurasian space. Today we have seen the young people from these IT parks. We had colleagues from Uzbekistan and basically all the countries who had exhibits where they talked about the way they work in these IT parks. This is an ecosystem for the developers, for the programmers, who are united by a single goal of developing technology in their countries. Such a system of IT parks would allow us to promote new technological developments, to start new projects and startups, and today we have seen the guys who started with the startups and ended up in developing highly demanded software products for their economies. Another promising area for cooperation is the digitalization of the state-to-people interaction using platforms, as we have seen today in the market. We are very actively working to establish a comprehensive national platform called Gostech or State Tech, which unites the required demanded services. Around 750 federal and over 3,500 regional systems would be involved in a common framework. This is a Russian national development. It is based upon the use of universal modules which can be adjusted for the specific needs and reused later. It has already been introduced in the industry. The Gostech platform allows us to find solutions for the most important tasks, to enhance the technological independence of the state IT sector, and to eliminate any possible cyber threats. In a year or two, the platform may also serve for integration in the digital area between the state and the citizens in the Eurasian space. To implement the common digital initiatives, we require the competent specialists. It is important that we organize the employment and professional training policy in the Eurasian space. In Russia, we have almost doubled the figures for the state scholarships for the IT specialist students. And in the universities, we have launched the digital department project for the students of all the areas, and we have also created programs of additional studies for the IT professions on the online educational platforms. We are open for highly qualified foreign specialists in such an important industry industry, and we establish all the necessary conditions for them. We have adopted a law in accordance with which they can use a simplified procedure to get their residence permit. This also concerns their family members as well. Distinguished colleagues, dear friends, the digital transformation opens large and vast opportunities for further integration in the Eurasian space. Advanced technologies expand the volume of information regarding the quality and the availability of goods and products. They ensure their timely shipment, and they help us establish cooperation between the producers and the suppliers without any regulators or intermediaries. They allow us to improve the business environment to make sure that the industries and the businesses from small to large can integrate themselves into the regional and the global economy. We believe that it is very important to organize the common exhibition Eurasia is our home to demonstrate the achievements of the Eurasian Five and the partners. Let me remind you that it will take place in the beginning of June in Sochi, together with the sessions of the Eurasian Intergovernmental Council and the Council of the Heads of State of CIS, as well as the Eurasian Congress. And I invite all of you to take part in these events. Dear friends, we have all the necessary tools to find solutions for the tasks at hand. What matters now is to coordinate our efforts, to set the goals, and to stand together. I would like to wish all the participants of today's forum good and fruitful and interesting discussions, and good luck. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mishustin. The next floor is given to Mr. Abdullah Aripov. Please, the floor is yours.
Уважаемые коллеги,
Distinguished colleagues, distinguished Minister Smailov, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to our Kazakh colleagues for the invitation to take part in today's forum, which has become a significant international dialogue platform for discussing salient issues of further development and integration of digital technologies. At the initiative of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan, distinguished Shavkat Mirziyoyev, the country is taking comprehensive measures for the digital transformation of sectors of the economy and society as a whole. Over the past few years, the country adopted and implemented strategically important programs to accelerate digitalization and develop e-government. Digital agenda of the adopted development strategy of New Uzbekistan provides for the implementation of the following priorities in the nearest future. First, the accelerated development of the digital industry and IT entrepreneurship. As a result of the state support measures taken, the number of the residents at IT park operating in our country last year amounted to more than 1,100 companies that today employ over 18,000 people. Over the past year, they provided IT services worth $450 million and exported software products worth $130 million to foreign markets. Over the next few years, we set the task of bringing export of services and software products to at least $1 billion. Our focus remains on the accelerated development of financial technologies and continuing to provide state support to IT companies as a pivotal catalyst in the development of the digital industry. Thus, we believe it's feasible to increase regional cooperation to support youth digital initiatives and their startup projects through the implementation of joint acceleration, scaling, and venture investment programs. The second important area of digital growth is development of human capital. In our opinion, it is the establishment of a multi-component information and education environment that will allow society to have access to new knowledge. In this regard, Uzbekistan is establishing an integral system for training the population at the initiative of the head of state. It provides for building opportunities for obtaining digital skills regardless of their age and place of residence. At the training centers opened in regions and cities of the country, as well as through an online educational platform, 1,700,000 people were able to train in IT field. An important condition for the development of this area are state support measures in obtaining high-quality IT education. Today, our youth has the opportunity to reimburse for the cost of international IT certificates. In addition, the country also introduced concessional lending programs in vocational education. A reasonable continuation of the measures taken will be starting this year the annual Republican competition among youth startup initiatives for the President's Award with a prize fund of $1 million. Additionally, this year we're planning to introduce a mechanism for reimbursing the expenses of training centers for training IT specialists for software exporting companies. The third priority is aimed at the development of e-government. Through the introduction of systems such as digital customs, transport control, transparent construction, digital finance and taxes, as well as organizations of interdepartmental electronic interaction, we were able to get rid of 73 types of certificates and documents from citizens, as well as 132 licensing procedures and permits for entrepreneurs. Today, the integrated portal makes available more than 370 types of electronic public services. They were used almost 13 million times last year, which in turn accounts for 70% of the total volume of services rendered by government agencies. Particular attention is given to the development of online forms of inclusive service. For example, payments of allowances for children with disabilities and childcare allowances, today carried out automatically in proactive mode. In addition, since last year, commercial banks have been allowed to provide electronic public services within their digital platforms, which allows more than 28 million users to receive additional services within the banking ecosystems. The measures taken on e-government allowed Uzbekistan last year to rise by 18 positions in the UN e-government development index, in the World Bank's GovTech Maturity Index by 37 positions, ranking 43rd. President of Uzbekistan, distinguished Shavkat Mirziyoyev, in 2023 identified such areas as healthcare, education, agriculture, and water management, as well as the real sector of the economy, as the main priority of digitalization in the country. In the space of the Eurasian Economic Union, we believe it's possible for relevant departments of our countries to consider integrating their national system for electronic public services and document management. This was already mentioned. This, in our opinion, will allow the population and entrepreneurs to freely use all digital opportunities, regardless of which EAEU country they're located in. The fourth priority of the digital economy is availability and reliability of network infrastructure. Today, there are 31 million internet users in the country. In the past year, the volume of telecommunications services grew by almost 22%, amounting to more than $1.3 billion. We have completed the connection of all social institutions of the country to the internet, and the penetration rate of wired broadband in communities has reached 80%. In the next 2 years, measures are outlined to further expand the international internet channel, modernize the mobile network, and cover all regional centers of the country with 5G. Dear forum participants, I am convinced that the successful implementation of the above priorities is impossible without close cooperation. In this regard, we are set to actively integrate our initiatives on a regional level, and we are interested in continuing increased contacts and enhancing digital interaction. It is necessary to consolidate the existing capabilities of our countries to transform the region into an advanced center of digital technologies. We deem it important to identify the main tasks and priorities for building closer regional partnerships in digital environment on the margins of the Almaty Forum. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Aripov. The next word is given to Mr. Mesnikovich. Please.
Distinguished heads of government, participants, guests, and organizers of the forum. First of all, I'd like to thank the leadership of the Republic of Kazakhstan for organizing of this forum, which has become an important place and traditional in nature for discussing the digital development of our Eurasian region. Thank you very much, Mr. Alekhan Naskhanovich, for your invitation to participate in the work of the forum. I'm confident that the ideas and proposals announced here will be interesting to all of the present here. If all of the leadership of our member states is, despite the fact the difference in the levels of digital development, they are all directed at the result. The informational systems are supposed to increase the efficiency of the economy, and all of the proposals that were remained in this from this platform will undoubtedly be included in the agenda for the further processing. All of the countries of our economic union, by the forecast of our data and the ratings of the UN of 2022, have high or very high levels of development of electronic government. At the same time, the general tendency for the development is in sync with all of the countries. In priorities are the development of digital development itself, accessibility of services increasing, and the investments are increasing, digital technologies in the educational sphere, trade, and what is most important is the processing industry, and all of the other industries as well of the real economy are still developing. At the same time, the objective reality is the following. The digital development in the Eurasian Union are still different. The Commission takes measures to utilize the instrument to promote informatization and informational awareness among the member states of the Union. The basis of the informational infrastructure is the integrated informational system that provides complex mechanism of the interstate informational exchange. Interaction of the state bodies of all the union countries are one of the prerequisites for the efficient functioning of the unified market. At the moment, the countries are actively utilizing the system for a significant percentage of all the efforts. All of the issues that have been present were successfully solved. All of the possibilities have been made. The database has been created, and 54 processes have been put into operation. And by the end of 2024, we'll bring all of the business processes upon which informational exchange will be conducted and we set the task of to 90%. At the Eurasian Economic Commission is set out to work out on the tremendous issue, especially in technical provision and informational exchange in G2G format in the line of business processes. But I'd like to underline the already existing database proves that we are able to tackle these tasks. The development in national segments and informational exchange between the states will remain consistent. All of the necessary documents are present. I consider it necessary to point out that in the recent years, the scale and complexity of digital projects have increased. National informational resources and system of the member states have become more powerful, with which the Eurasian Commission is integrating with their own proprietary informational system. With it, it is necessary to modernize all of the approaches to creating conditions for the integration and implementation of the modernization of the economy, and intensify the creation of the unified digital space for our Eurasian Economic Union. All of these will serve as a stimulus for the increase in global competitiveness, increase in quality of life, and in the quality of provided services. Such projects undoubtedly have to be in line with the challenges that we are facing, and all of these solutions, as it was voiced from this platform, and obviously adherence to the environmental agenda of the Union. But we also have to remember that the expansion of the informational capabilities of the EAEU creates new informational threats for specific countries in the Union and the Union itself. Development of informatization is relevant, especially in current geopolitical conditions. The special attention is paid to the informational security. The Commission and government members are actively working on creation the secure data transmission system, and in accordance with which EAEU creates the cryptographic protection of information system. With all the importance of the issues of informational security, they do not have to hold back the informational exchange. Unfortunately, we are facing these problems quite often. We presume that the informational security has to promote the utilization of efficient economic solutions. Aside from that, it is necessary to harmonize national interstate informational flows to the unified requirements of the Eurasian Economic Union. Unfortunately, we have to state that quite often, there is no real possibility to establish a single platform considering the agendas of each country for the informational security. We assume that this issue has to be reflected in the future and at the special international agreement. President of the Russian Federation and the chairman of the highest Eurasian Economic Council in the February of 2023 has said that it's important that digital technologies and solutions in the field of activity be introduced in all EAEU countries on the basis of general principles and approaches, which should be enshrined in separate act of the Eurasian Intergovernmental Council. Dear colleagues, we have more and more opportunities to intensify our cooperation and for the integration on the basis of unified informational basis for the digital platforms. without the prejudice to the sovereignty. It will allow us to provide for the digital transformation and create conditions for the development of basic and new directions and industries in the EAEU countries. In that sense, the task of the Eurasian Economic Commission is to fully utilize the possibilities to intensify digital integration. Thank you very much. Many thanks, Mikhail Vladimirovich. And now I would like to turn to the international expert on digitalization, Mr. Hwan Chon-son.
Government development in Korea for over 35 years. Can you please share a bit about this experience and mostly about the plans for the nearest future?
Okay, thank you, Andrew. So I'm Chung Song Hwang. Your Excellencies and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to be here to speak in Almaty at the Eurasia Economic Union Round Table. I'm highly impressed by the achievement of the Kazakhstan government. Among others, smart data UKMET, so I think is without doubt one of the world's best government services. Also, I strongly believe that Kazakhstan and other Eurasian countries will be able to establish a truly sustainable digital economy in their country, considering each country's strong commitment and well-designed national strategies. Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, back in the 1970s, just 50 years ago, Korea was far behind most other countries in most domains, even in the basic communication infrastructure like telephone. But now, Korea is one of the leading ICT countries, consistently ranked among the top 3 countries in e-government, broadband internet, open government data, and 5G mobile services, just to name a few. However, like any other country, Korea is now facing another big challenge called digital transformation, not just in the field of technology and industry, but also in the domains of politics, culture, and society. We don't know for sure how this digital transformation will evolve, but one thing is quite clear, that digital transformation should not be something that widens the digital divide among people and deepens polarization among nations. We need to maximize the potential of digital transformation while minimizing unwanted effect. This is a truly global issue that all countries should work together to address. What we need now is a new level of digital order. Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol announced Korea's new digital vision and strategy last year, stressing that digital transformation should contribute to the realization of freedom, solidarity, and human rights. He suggested 4 principles for a new digital order. First, digital technology should make a contribution to expanding freedom. Second, everyone should be granted equal access to digital data and be able to use them in a responsible manner. Third, the digital ecosystem should be open to everyone and allow anyone to participate in it. Fourth, the concept of work and job should be redefined, and joint efforts are needed to develop responses to digital risks. President Yoon promised that Korea will become a model country for digital transformation and try to take the lead to realize digital vision and build a new digital order based on 4 principles. However, the work of establishing a new digital order cannot be achieved by any single country. I hope that Eurasian countries will be able to play an important role in developing a new global digital order for a better world along with Korea and other countries. Korea is ready to form new partnerships based on mutual cooperation, and I hope we can work more closely in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kwon Jong-song. В заключении
In conclusion to the official part of our plenary session, I would like to refer to Mr. Timur Turlov. Freedom made a few incredible digital projects. What was the most interesting and significant?
Thank you very much. Basically, all of the powerful GovTech services in Kazakhstan allow us to revolutionize in productivity of labor. And I think we've managed to touch upon the most important factors and several important products that became very popular on the market. One of the first services that I would like to show you in the whole story, it will be in regards to the interaction with state services, and we can achieve unique results whenever we establish a unique interaction between private finance databases, as banking or insurance, and the governmental databases. By having any resources from the standpoint of private IT technologies, it is impossible to create a first-class product if the state infrastructure is not open or modern enough and is not ready for this interaction. And it is because of that we have the opportunity to make a breakthrough and show the more impressive results that were ahead of us for the decades in digital transformation. We are implementing all of the digital technologies faster. Even though they were not developed by us, they are widely spread in our region. Today, we've presented our platform that allows to fully online register the real estate deals in digital area. I think this plays quite a lot on state services in charge of a state that allows to save time and save quite a lot of money for people. I'd like to show you how we fully tested the process. It's fully paperless, where people do not actually have to physically show up to any kind of offices, and the deal, and real estate deal, can be just as, done just as easy as automobile and vehicle purchase deal, which is in an instant. We've reduced this term to 1 day. The full registry takes about similar to the mortgage. It is just like a mortgage is possible to be done in less than a day. It is the benchmark, and quite a lot of the developed countries can only dream of the results such as that. This year, we will launch and what we have re-engineered one of the most important programs that was developed by the government of Kazakhstan in order to support the loaning to the SMEs. It was done so that entrepreneurships were able to get the loaning with guarantees from Damu Fund, with the term of just 1 day, where we are able to give both sides of loans, and all of the necessary inquiries can be registered. Thanks to the integration with government databases, we're able to reach the fact that we could analyze the full detail of the consumer. We do not have to request all of the special analytics or some special data. It is fully automated process. Before, in classical story, originally it took 30 days to get a loan or to get a credit. Right now, we've managed together with Damu. It's not just a bank product; it's a product with guarantees from the Damu fund to do this in 24 hours. I think it would be a very important driver in support measures for SMEs because of the fact that it simplifies the bureaucracy and it allows to increase the affordability and accessibility of the services and for their issuance. I'd like to show you an example of the already implemented products. That is our products for digital mortgage. Right now, it is working for more than a year now. We've launched it in 2020, and with the state mortgage with the state program was launched in 2021. In 2022, it was mortgage with the state support measures. This process that took 2 weeks, we could minimize it to 2 days maximum. And the shortest possible term was just 2 hours, starting from registering an account in a bank. And all of the accounting calculation, it is the process where a bank does not does everything in a paperless manner, but is the client's choice to get the documents, for example, from the notary. Our very small digital bank, without a network, with less than 10 offices throughout the country, they serve all of the citizens throughout Kazakhstan, and it managed to secure the 50% of all the market share among the second-tier banks. And in the mortgage with the state support measures, our market share is 60%. As in the span of last year, we've issued almost 13.4 thousand loans. It is the real working process, fully digital. In all these almost 14,000 loans, we do not have any paper document in the bank. It is truly a fast process, and it can be done in a very short term. It can change the industry, and all of the and everything that was seemed unattainable by the other players could be placed under some doubt. And I'm confident that we can only go forward, and we can lose our first spot very quickly because someone else can develop the similar technology. Digital vehicle credit or auto credit, we've integrated this with the state databases. It's a large interaction with digital ministry and internal ministry, and we've managed to assess and ensure the vehicle without physical contact with them. And we've been using a large amount of analytics and big data in accordance with the video surveillance systems that was present in a lot of cities. It is a wonderful story about how to change the property rules. All of the fintech is all about property, and the government is the middleman. Actually, we see when process becomes convenient for the user in our country, it can launch quite fast. Kazakhstan has a very young population. All of this social service shows that Kazakhstans are very tech optimistic. They are very adaptable relatively to US or EU. There are a lot of cases that we've conducted POS terminal where you receive payments and you can just withdraw cash from a credit card, and you can just or acquire cash. It allows us to regulate insurance claims whenever there are road accidents. You can even do this without calling to police, without applying to the insurance company. You can just photograph the vehicle, register, and then get the insurance online in a very short term. It turns into the term is 5 days throughout the country, and we see how we can shorten this term even further. It allows us to win competitiveness without providing financial stimuli. A good business process is more powerful than any ad campaign. It is this speed that can be main challenge all the time. If you launch the project half a year early than your competitors, it can give you an advantage and for a few years. Our task that we see for ourselves is to exchange of an interaction. Then we will be able to make more qualitative decision, be proactive, to come with personalized solutions to a client, assess the risks, and produce more affordable products and services. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Timur Ruslanovich. These are all big achievements and very ambitious plans. I thank all the participants of the plenary session for your presentation, recommendations, and suggestions. We learned about the huge work that our countries are doing as part of the implementation of the digital agenda. And now, allow me to announce the start of Digital Almaty Awards ceremony.
We
would like to, in the nomination, EdTech Company of the Year, we would like to invite Prime Minister of Republic of Armenia Nikol Pashinyan to give the award to the winner. The winner in this nomination is Darren Online.
Для награждения победителя в номинации
We would like to invite Prime Minister of the Republic of Belarus, Roman Golovchenko, to present an award to the winner in the MedTech Company of the Year nomination. The winner in the nomination is Cerebra.
Для награждения
We would like to invite the Chairman of the Cabinet of Ministers of the Kyrgyz Republic, Head of the Presidential Administration of the Kyrgyz Republic, Akulbek Japarov, to present an award for nomination the FinTech Company of the Year. The winner is Solva. Thank you. The next nomination is CDO of the Year. We would like to invite Chairman of the Government of the Russian Federation Mikhail Mishustin to present the award to the winner. The winner is Yerbol Ospanov.
Для награждения победителя.
The next award is E-Commerce Company of the Year. We would like to invite the Prime Minister of Uzbekistan, Abdullah Aripov, to present the award. The winner is FlipKZ. The next nomination is Venture Capitalist of the Year. We would like to invite Chairman of the EAEU EEC Board, Chairman Mikhail Mesnikov, to present the award, and the winner of the nomination is Most Ventures.
Для награждения
The next nomination is Woman in Tech of the Year. We would like to invite Prime Minister of Kazakhstan Alixan Smailov to present the award to the winner. The winner is Asem Nurgaliyeva. I congratulate all of the winners, and here I would like to close our plenary session. Thank you so much. Wish you success in your future endeavors.